Hello, I'm Sriram, and we are going to look at something that happened today. The Directorate of Government Exams in Tamil Nadu has released the Class 12 board exam results, and as expected, a very high number of students have passed. 94% of students have cleared the exam. This is 3% more than the previous year's number. And girls have, as usual, done better than boys. Girls having about 96% uh, pass percentage, and boys scoring about 91%. So there is a 5% difference between the two. All these are fine. Uh, the government has also, a positive note is that the government has also opened 3,200 career guidance cells in government schools, government or government aided schools. And that is a good development to guide students about what options exist in higher education for them. However, I want to focus on one aspect of these results, which is about the number of centum scores. Broadly, high scoring kind of trend in board exam. So the number of centum scorers in any subject, any one subject has gone up to 32,500. Last year it was 23,957, about 24,000. So from 24,000 to about 33,000. That's a 35% increase. This is number of people, number of students who have scored 100 out of 100 in any one subject. We hear from the news that at least one person has scored 100 in all the subjects. So that is a whooping 35% increase over the last year. And very interestingly, accounting accounts for 6,500 students scoring 100. Traditionally across the country, maths used to be the subject in which students used to score 100, or were expected to, good students were expected to score 100 out of 100. Now maths comes below even physics and chemistry. Physics and chemistry accounting for about 5,000-6,000 students, and maths accounting just for about 690 centums. That is the subject which used to be the meant for scoring 100 some decades ago is now very much low down the ladder, down the rungs. It's just 690, nearly one tenth of what accounting sort of accounts for number of centers. Now, what does it mean? It could mean two things. One is that the learning quality of students has gone up across the board. So more number of students are cracking the exam with very high scores, and as much as 100. The second possibility is that the board has become very generous, more generous than before. Now, what the truth could be somewhere in between, truth could be sort of a mix of both. But how do the higher education institutions perceive this? How do colleges and universities perceive this? Is what counts for students. Now, higher education institutions, colleges, perceive this to be more out of the generosity of the board, because they are not going to increase the number of seats in colleges in general. There may be increase in some colleges, but otherwise the number of seats remain more or less the same. But they are going to up the mark required to join any course. So if you had to score 90% to join a course in a particular college, this year it will be probably 92%. That indicates that the colleges or take that the board has become generous rather than the learning quality has improved. If the learning quality has improved, the colleges would not want to sort of miss the students, and they wouldn't want to let the students slip out of their fingers. So increase the number of seats, they would do something, but that is not the case. They are going to up the percentage. So in some sense, scoring higher means standing where you are in a treadmill. You may run faster, but you are just standing where you are in the treadmill. Now, the other aspect is that, take for example, do these marks really matter? Now, in the very short term, probably yes, but in the long term, examinations like Common University Entrance Test (CUET) are gaining ground, and they are gaining ground much faster than we expected. Last year, about 90 universities and institutions accepted CUET scores. This year, that number has gone to 116. This includes colleges in Tamil Nadu, such as Avinashalingam College and Kalasalingam Academy, and apart from the Central University of Tamil Nadu, we expect more colleges to join this. So that is an indication that whatever be your total score, sooner or later, students have to crack some entrance examination. The entrance examination is also common for some of the private engineering colleges. So they will have to crack these entrance exams to make it to good institutions. The third point is that higher education institutions in science, for example, Institute of Science Education and Research, ISER, which has several branches, well, several institutions across the country, network providers, they have their own test. And to be eligible for the test, one has to be within the 1 percentile of the board examination, which means where does that 1 percentile end for state indicates how generous the board is. In Tamil Nadu, accounts for something very high. For example, in Tamil Nadu, you are within 1 percentile only if you score 444 out of 500. This was last year's numbers. 444 out of 500 will put you in 1 percentile. Whereas in Jharkhand and Manipur and Orissa and such other states, 70% score would put you within the top 1%, 1 percentile. If you score within the top 1 percentile of your board, you become eligible for taking the test for admission to ISIS. So generally in South, the southern states seem to have a very high percentage. They seem to be, the boards seem to be very generous. Therefore, the 1 percentile ends with 472 in Telangana and Andhra, 452 in Karnataka, and about 444 in Tamil Nadu. So generally indicating that very high generous attitude of boards, but this is taken into account for calculating the 1 percentile by institutions like ISER, so they compensate for it. Whatever be your number, there is a certain way in which this compensatory mechanism works in higher education institutes. And so what are we to go by? I mean, how would we look at the learning college? Some indicators are, for example, in IIT JEE, about 20 students from Tamil Nadu board cleared IIT JEE, the main JEE joint entrance exam. Let's not call it IIT JEE, the joint entrance exam main, a couple of years ago. Whereas the same year, 934 students from Telangana board cleared the examination. JEE may not be a benchmark, but these are very high benchmark for the top ranking students, right? And Delhi government schools account for about 1,100 students clearing JEE and NEET exams. In comparison, Tamil Nadu numbers are not really great. So, what are we to go by? How do we how do we move forward? What do we take this for? I think some alignment with examinations such as CUET, making a larger number of Tamil Nadu students to get through the common entrance exam and get to top universities, including in Tamil Nadu, getting a larger number of students to crack the JEE mains, which is not meant for IITs, but which is meant for other engineering colleges, such as NITs, getting board examination students who are good at maths and sciences to crack these exams, probably coaching them separately, or aligning the syllabus in such a way that these students manage to crack these exams with good scores. That could be an indicator that the learning quality is improving. We don't necessarily get anywhere by giving 100%. Take, for example, what is perceived to be the toughest exam in the country, which is UPSC, which brings out the IAS and IPS officers. Now, that examination is generally, arguably, termed to be the toughest examination to crack. And do you know the toppers percentage in the last 5 years? The average toppers percentage, topper of the UPSC, the topper of IAS exams, it's about 50%, 55%. Between, if you score between 50 and 55% in UPSC mains and interview put together, you would be in the top. That you would, there is no question of anybody scoring beyond 70 or 80%, unheard of. 50 and 55% will give the person the topper's rank. Such is the difficulty level of the examination. So I think the board should aim to make all the students clear the examination with decent scores. That is a good aim. Everyone should pass, as many students as possible. If 94 percentage pass percentage becomes 100, that is laudable. But centums, more number of centums and more number of centums in any subject, more number of centums across all subjects, do these mean much? I'm not very sure about that. I don't think that is the case, and I don't think that is how the higher education institutions perceive these high marks to be. Thank you very much.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.